All right, what's up, guys? So, Jubilee has uploaded a video titled Dean Withers versus 20 MAGA women surrounded. And yeah, I don't know if it's the same, like the same video, but I did see I think it was a clip on TikTok where the woman was like, you need to respect your elders. And I'm thinking to myself, when they say things like that I need to respect my elders. And I'm like, before this, we had no history. So, but the thing is that people that say things like that, they usually want to disrespect you, but with you not disrespecting them back. And so, yeah, that's why I'm like, no, that whole like respect your elders thing, I haven't had that said to me too many times, because I think for the most part, I like to just be left alone. I don't really, not so much as I don't like confrontation, but it's like I know what I'm capable of, and I know, I guess, more so verbally, and I'll say some things that'll have you upset. So I'm not trying to ruin nobody's day. That's why you put me into settings like this. I'm not gonna be hitting it with no political facts. I'm roasting each and every single one of those women in there. I'm like, you guys, I'm gonna have it where your time is not gonna be wasted, but you're not gonna like what your time is being used for. So, but yeah, with that being said, I did put this up on 1.5 speed because it's almost 2 hours. So yeah, this is I don't know if I'll react to the whole video. I might do it in parts. But yeah, I'll try to get through it and all that stuff. But anyways, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Jubilee. And with that being
I
said,
think that we need strong alpha males like Donald J. Trump, Spencer Pratt, and our loved Charlie.
no, no, no. I'm like, ma'am, you know, I just her considering, yeah, I'm like, your taste in men must be horrible. If you think that Trump is a alpha male, yeah, he's, it's his body is built like the word alpha, but it's not, that doesn't make him an alpha male. That just means that he's a misshaped man. I'm like, yeah, that's one of the, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even there, but I definitely, all the women would have been like just sitting around me yelling and getting mad and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm just having a ball because I'm like, I know I'm making you guys upset. So,
Ironically say strong alpha males.
We have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. You are oppressed more than me.
Men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And trust me, I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women.
Dude,
they had to make things up to get
I'm
Trump.
gonna slow this down a little bit.
Any woman would love to be with Trump.
all right, listen, put your hand up. If you
Any
have
woman
sex
would
with
love
Donald
to be
Trump.
with Trump. Wow. That is crazy. But yeah, for those that don't know, Dean Withers, I followed him a while back, and yeah, this guy, he's somebody where I'm like, if I was like getting into it with like 20, like verbally though, like I was like arguing with a bunch of like Trump supporters, and he showed up to that's like that part in the Avengers when yeah, Captain America was fighting Thanos and stuff, and then all the like heroes started coming up out that portal thing. It's like it'll bring a tear to my eye, but I'm like, okay, I know I'm good now. I'm like, go ahead, dap him up, and I'm like, yeah, man, let's go ahead and get to work. I'm like, you hit them with the education, then I'll hit them with the roasting.
Has Donald Trump been a good president for women?
Nope.
Or has America moved backward from expanding women's rights to debating how far those rights should go? I'm John Regalado, and from Jubilee Media, this is Surrounded, where one brave soul faces a room full of disagreeers. Today, we are diving into what feminism means on both sides of the aisle, abortion rights, and President Trump's record. I'm here with our featured guest, progressive commentator, Dean Withers. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You ready to go?
Oh, I'm excited. This will be fun.
All right, are you all ready to debate Dean?
It's like putting Dean Withers in the middle of like 20 like Trump women and stuff. That's like putting Mike Tyson in like a pee-wee boxing of like situation or something. Yeah, it's like you got him boxing a bunch of prime Mike Tyson boxing a bunch of middle schoolers. I'm like, how do you think, unless they, I don't know, like ambush him all at the same time, but I'm like, he gets a hit on you, it's over with. So yeah, like full powered out, like top of his game, Mike Tyson, and you put him in the ring with 20 middle schoolers. How do you think that situation is going to turn? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of kids missing middle school that day. So
Okay, let's get into it.
I'm Dean Withers. I'm a 21-year-old liberal. I do political debate for a living, and today I'm surrounded by 20 Trump supporters again. But this time, they're all women.
Oh, so he did one with men. Okay.
My first surrounded claim is men aren't better at leading than women.
If you would like to debate this claim, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Good to see you again.
Welcome back, Lori. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing phenomenal. So the first claim is that men are not better at leading than women. And I'm honestly appalled that you as a woman would disagree. But I mean, if you want to start it off by telling us why you do think men are better at leading than women, the mic is all yours.
Well, how I would like to start this off is I'd like you to define what a woman is.
Well, sure. I think that the definition of what a woman
Like, hold on, time out. You being a woman don't know the definition. That's like me asking, I don't know what it is to be a black person. You live and breathe who you are every single day. So I mean, unless you're trying to transition, I feel like you should know that question. I'm like full head Hulk Hogan. I'm like, see, I'm like that's yeah. Please don't put me in one of these situations because I'm like, yeah, I think there would definitely be a physical altercation. More so me saying something than a woman trying to put hands on me and stuff. Cause yeah, so like I don't even know where that came from. See, that's the thing. Like roasting is just like it's a misfire. Like you pull the trigger and be all like, oh my god, like I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. That's just it was a slip of the tongue.
is ultimately irrelevant to this debate, and I'm willing
No,
to
it's
assume
not.
I'm willing to pre-assume your definition of what a woman is, i.e., an adult human female. See, if I were to give you my definition of what a woman is, an adult human.
I'm gonna put this on normal speed. It's like trying to follow and then listen and all that stuff. So yeah, we're gonna put it back on normal, and I might just have to do this in parts.
Individual that pertains to the social and cultural characteristics typical that of a female sex indexed to their gender identity, well, then all of a sudden we're going to be speaking past one another because we define the word woman differently.
Exactly.
So I'm more than
for
happy
you
to
bring this
pre-assume your
prompt in the first
definition.
place is kind of silly because you don't know what a woman is.
Well, I just told you what my
And,
definition of the word woman is. You just
know,
simply
and I think
overlooked
it would
it.
also depend on what leadership role that person would take. For instance, if you wanted Kamala Harris, who you voted for, to be the president of the United States, we have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. It's not necessarily the woman, but it is necessarily foreign countries. For instance, the Middle East. If I go to a Middle East country as a woman, I can't show my hair at risk of being stoned.
Why are we talking about Middle Eastern countries when the prompt is men are not
Because
better
you're
at leading
asking
than women?
about leading. You voted for Kamala Harris. I think she would have been a horrible leader. Foreign countries don't always see women as respectful as they see a man. A woman leading this country, for instance, when you go to doing foreign policy.
But it's like, how do you know that? You don't, unless I'm like, ma'am, can you see into the future? I'm saying, like, nobody knows what would happen if a woman were to become president of the United States. So for you to assume, it's like, that makes you wrong. It's like we're not going based off of what your image of America is. We're going based off of what's going to actually happen when things start happening in America. So yeah, that's why I'm like, ma'am, yeah, it's I'm like the wrinkles must be affecting. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Because if I say anything else, then yeah, then one of these women's gonna be like, how dare you? And I'm like, no, it's like, how dare you just I don't know, be that. It's like it looks like you just like, I don't know, you stretched out your neck, but then you did like how that guy did it, Men in Black, and pulled your okay, I'm sorry.
And all of those things, they would not have the respect that a man would. I can also say as a woman, depending on your age, if I've got PMS, honey, I'm going to make different decisions than I would as if I didn't. If I'm going through menopause, I might have hot flashes or whatever else. I believe as a Christian woman, men are supposed to lead. We're supposed to help. And I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay, well, thank you, Lori. So the first thing that I'd point out here is that your position that maybe foreign countries wouldn't respect a female president as much as a male president, I don't think is represented through the fact that on the global stage, Harris had a significantly higher approval rating than Trump during the election. And there's a reason for that.
Because
but
she
I
would have been a
digress.
pushover. They would have walked right over her.
And that's exactly why she had significantly better policy, better character,
No,
would have been
not
a better
at all.
president for
Not
America.
at all.
But ultimately, once again,
Ultimate
Lori,
failure.
It's funny, like when people, they know that they're on the losing end of a conversation, they want to talk over you and cut you off. And I guess, I don't know, like maybe that's her attempt at trying to distract him for like, what he's trying to say. But I just feel like that, when a person is educated enough, they know what they're going to say. It's embedded in their brain. Give them the opportunity to say it, they gonna say it. So it's like, ma'am, you could cut me off a bunch of different times. I'm like, I'm still going to get my point across. So I'm like, just because you talk over me and then you're, if that's your, I guess, way of trying to dominate the conversation, it's like, okay, talking over me, yes, you can dominate the conversation that way. But when we're speaking like on education and who I guess is going to be right, I don't know. I just feel like that if it takes 20 of you guys to go up against me, then it's like I think that this is more of a settings to see how dumb a Trump supporter is versus how educated a Trump supporter is. I feel like an educated Trump supporter, they're not going to, whatever their political views are, they're entitled to those political views, but they're not going to argue with somebody else in their political views. So, and I have friends that voted for Trump, and yeah, it's like, I seen it and I was all like, dang, I'm like, you a Trump supporter and stuff. I'm like, man, I mean, I guess I'm like, I just don't want it to be a thing though where it ruins the friendship. So I'm like, hey, let's just keep politics out of the friendship. But I mean, if it starts getting to a point where you want to constantly, I'm like, yeah, don't be surprised if I don't want to be around you no more. But anyways,
The topic of debate is not, was Harris a better option for the president than Trump? Because even if we want to look at women and men on this macroscopic level of evaluating one woman compared to one man, even if it was true Harris was a clown and Trump was awesome, that still wouldn't mean that generally speaking, men are better at leading than women. The last point that you made there was about PMSing. I think that you're indicating that women are more emotional than men on average.
They are, 100%.
Okay. Then tell me why men commit 92% of violent crimes. Tell me why they're more likely to self-unalive, commit
Testosterone.
suicide. So you think that testosterone is what makes men more emotional?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then you just conceded the debate.
No, I didn't.
You
concede
said that
because
absolutely men are
it's
more
a
emotional than men
different-
5
it's a
seconds after saying that women were more emotional
Well,
than men.
and that's kind of like somewhat of a red herring, because what I'm trying to say to you,
Huh?
women are more emotional. They just are in more of a, I can change my mind depending on my mood. Now, you're bringing in anger, you're bringing in violence, you're bringing in
Is anger an
another
emotion?
It is, but
yeah, but I'm like, okay, the thing is this though. I think I would rather have it where I'm dealing with a woman that, if it's, yeah, like, the things that women go through. I think I'd rather deal with that than, a man going crazy and shooting up a place and me being caught up in the crossfire. It's like, yeah, that seems, dealing with a woman seems a lot easier than taking a bullet. And I'm like, I don't want to get shot because, oh, this guy's been rejected by a woman, or he's been bullied in school, or he just so happened to be president of the United States and now he wants to bomb my country and stuff. But I'm like, a woman on the other hand, it's like she's like, I just want to be left alone. I'm like, all right, I'll go outside and I don't know, cut the grass or something. I'm like, I just feel like that's like, you just separate. I'm like, yeah. And it's like, she's feeling better at some point in time. Either I'll see it or she'll let me know. And I'm like, all right, cool. We back. We back either in a friendship, relationship, whatever the case is. But anyways,
to a different extent. And honestly, if you've got a man that's violent, out of character alone, I don't want him leading the country.
Yeah, that's why you
or
voted
anything.
for.
Oh, yeah, Rich, you want to get into that? I know that's another prompt,
Well, I
but
mean,
I'm happy to get into that.
I guess we
He
could
was
get into
never
that on the prompt.
never accused of.
Okay, we got it.
it's like when nobody has came forward. I think that if some people were to come forward, and it's like and that's I think what's so scary about that. It's like you're coming forward to somebody that has a lot of power. So yeah, I think a lot of people would be skeptical of it. It honestly wouldn't surprise me that I guess like when Trump does leave this world, yeah, it'll probably will. It's like, okay, yeah, he doesn't have no power, so I don't have to worry about something happening to me. But then on top of that too, it's like, okay, I publicly speak about that stuff. Look at how Trump supporters are. I'm like, just look at how they were on January 6th. So that's why I'm like, yeah, in this day and age, yeah, maybe if I'm like all the way across the world, in a completely different country where everybody there don't like Trump, then I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do a whole tell-all. But if you're like, my thing is this, right? If you're in the middle of the lion's den, why would you do something to antagonize the lions and stuff? So yeah, it's like you'll usually wait to do whatever it is you gotta do when you're outside of it. But anyways,
You've been voted out. Please
Okay.
return to your seat.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Lori.
If you would like to be the next debater, please get to the chair. In 3, 2, 1.
there's some women, they ain't even moving there. It's like, yeah, they're like, they know about this guy, they don't want no problems.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi.
I'm going to give the mic to you. Why don't you tell us all why men are better at leading than women?
Men are better at leading because as a woman, I can tell you that we're emotionally manipulated very easy. We tend to be compassionate because we, as a woman,
And that's the thing where it's like, I don't know where she heard that from, but that's one thing that I do pay attention to people that are more so followers than leaders, is that they all like to say, the same thing. Now, overall, yes, it is the same question, but I feel like it could have been answered differently, rather than rewording what that other woman was saying. So
getting
anyways,
pregnant It's inherent in us. Why? Because we deal with babies.
So women deal with babies, therefore women can be manipulated. I don't think that that argument follows. But
We
once
can
again,
be easily manipulated.
You could tell she's one of those peoples where it's like she has like full blown conversations with crystals. I guarantee and I promise you, in the middle of whatever like downtown area she's like from, I guarantee and I promise you, she either goes to a crystal shop frequently or she does own a crystal shop. But it's like her best friend is a blue crystal that costs like $10 off of
women
Amazon.
can be easily
And
manipulated.
convince, yeah.
What's the argument for that?
It's inherent in us.
Okay, just saying that it's inherent is like me saying that what is actually inherent of women is that they can't be easily manipulated. That doesn't give me any substance to underpin your position when you just simply underpin your position by saying, well, it's inherent. And it doesn't push this dialogue forward. I would say that men are probably easier to emotionally manipulate than women, or else they wouldn't be culpable for 92% of violent crimes. We could emotionally manipulate a man by making him lose a game of Fortnite. The next thing we know, there's 3 holes in his walls. Right? Same thing with self-unaliving statistics, suicide. Suicide's a really bad thing, but it is true that men are significantly more likely to kill themselves than women on average. Same thing with drunk driving, gambling. And then when we look at women, they actually perform better in the fields that are less indicative of emotional outbursts, such as performing well in school. And I mean, this is all underpinned by biology. There was a study done by the
They got
American
red
Medical
flags
Association
for.
that proved that if you're operated on by a female compared to a male in the operating room at a hospital, that you're less likely to die or to experience any post-negative operative outcomes. Why? Because women are biologically designed to deal with stress and pain better than men because they have thicker dendrites in their brain. So ultimately, the science and the empirical
He's complimenting women and they're disagreeing with him. Please make that make sense. Like I'm saying, like to me, that's like somebody saying, like, oh, like black men, they're the best type of men to be around. I'm like, well, no. I'm like, I think a white man, I'm like, yeah, it because they are, more welcome in sunlight. And that honestly sounds like what the conversation that they're having. It's like you're finding the reasons that nobody is thinking about, and you're trying to make it seem like that's the message for all women, or that's their lifestyle and all of this. I'm like, yeah, it's just it's certain people, you try to have a conversation with them. Again, have a conversation with the leader. When you have a conversation with a follower, they don't know the answers that they want to, like, I guess, like they want to say and stuff. And so I guess they get put in a more so leading position. Then that's when, I guess maybe if she was having an argument with a crystal, then yeah, it's like easily can win that argument and stuff. But other than that, it's like, it's somebody where it's like, I don't look at Dean Withers as a lead, or not as a leader, but as a follower. I look at him more of a leading figure. So that's why I think why he carries himself so well in conversations. But anyways,
facts completely reject the conclusions that you formed.
Not at all. Men are more
we'll
rational,
pause
and
there.
women.
You've been voted out by the majority, so please return to your seat.
so that's
If
what
you
the
wanna
red
be the
flags.
next debater,
Okay.
Please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hey,
What's
Just
your
the way that she ran up, you could tell that she's a cat woman. Like, not, I don't mean like she owns cats, but like in her past life, she used to be a cat with the outfit and just that. Yeah, she 100% used to be a cat.
Annette Davis Jackson.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, yes.
So let's hear it. Why do you think that men are better at leading than women?
How about I know that men lead better than women because women have the babies, you're emotional, but more important, I have a dad. I have a dad who was very strong, and when I see what President Trump is embodying, I say, and I know that you can roll.
It's like, ma'am, what are you talking about? I'm like, you went from talking about your dad, realized you had nothing to say about him, and then just started going off about Trump. I'm like, dude, single moms not exist? I'm saying, like, there's a lot of single moms out there, and I'm like, there are single moms that I'm friends with where it's like, yeah, I think if it was left up to letting a random man, I guess, guide their kids or them, and it's like, okay, they signed up to be a parent. They signed up to be a mom. So it's like, okay, the one parent, they chicken out, whatever and stuff. Now it's left up to me. I'm not just going to leave my kids, I guess, to follow behind people like Trump and stuff. I'm like, then what's the point of me being a parent? So if she has kids, I'm like, dang, I'm like, I am sorry. But anyways.
Your eyes, but you know what? My grandmother used to say, you can roll your cotton balls, but you sure can't shoot them. So men are strong just like Trump because in the first 100 days,
wait a minute.
You know what? My grandmother used to say, you can roll.
So I'm like, you just quoted your mom, or a grandmother and stuff, but it's like you're trying to make it seem like, so it's like, you didn't get that, quote from a man. So it's like I even that right there, I'm like, that ain't really benefiting the argument, but it's like you're giving credit to a woman. That's what I'm doing. Like, what's different than what we're doing right now?
Cotton balls, but you sure can't shoot them. So men are strong just like Trump because in the first 100 days, what did he do? He started writing executive orders.
Yeah.
He started writing executive orders day after day after day after day after day after day. Women would probably say, hey, ooh, let me take a break. That's why.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, listen.
And that to me, this image right here is just crazy. A black woman praising Trump. Yeah. It's like, I think her grandmother definitely would have had a conversation with her. I think that, that's one thing I feel like that, with our parents, like we will have, if we wasn't, like more so like our great grandparents and stuff. I feel like that, in this day and age, in this society, the great grandparents, it's like, I think that we would be a little bit more vocal, but yeah, it's like then when you leave it up to I wouldn't like a generation where it's just, I guess people like her, it's just, it's the conversation, it's just gonna be weird. It's like I'm really trying to like, I guess, like piece together, stuff to say based on what she just said. And I'm like, she just pretty much gave us a verbal flashbang. Like what she said, all it just does is disorient people and stuff.
Clearly I
So
disagree with you about Trump. But that's actually not relevant to my counter argument. I'll tell you why. Because even if Trump was a good leader, that doesn't mean that therefore men are better at leading than women on average. Like, for instance, in the same way that you could give an anecdote of a man that you think is good at leading to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women, well, I could just give an anecdote of the opposite. Hitler was a man, he was a terrible leader, therefore men are worse at leading than women. All right? But clearly that's not how it works, because we cannot attempt to allow an anecdote of what we think about one individual man to then exist as a portrait for a generalization about all men.
Why did you have to say Hitler?
Because he's obviously a bad leader that's a man.
Yeah, and
Do you agree?
the president of the United States, which is the commander-in-chief, Donald J. Trump, is a great leader.
Okay.
And he's a great leader because he won a landslide.
Okay. Yeah.
And
This is
if
so
he
true.
could run again, he would run a landslide again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's not.
like I was like, I don't know, the evil Michelle Obama off the she looks like, what she looks like? I don't know, because I know some people might have seen the first Phantasm movie, but there was the second Phantasm movie where they was like in a separate house and they had like a villainous character, and there was this old man and stuff. She reminds me of like if that old man had transferred into Michelle Obama, that's who she would
He's
be.
a terrible president. His policy sucks. How about this? What's your favorite Trump policy? I mean, a bill passed through Congress, then signed into
She
law.
don't know.
I'm a former college coach, and not having men in women's sports.
I'm sorry, what bill was that?
Oh, no.
Fact check.
Well, I'm sorry, what bill was that? I asked you a very specific
He's
We
question.
got to stop there. That you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Yeah.
seat.
Okay.
Get out
All
here, evil
right, if you
Michelle
wanna
Obama,
Debate
or
this claim. Please get to the center in 3.
deranged
2,
Diana Ross.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I think I remember you. Were you on my first Surrounded episode?
Maybe.
Well, I'm going to pass the mic to you. Tell us why you think men are better at leading than women. It's worth me like reminding you and maybe everybody else in the room that so far a lot of the people who've come up and sat in that chair have really missed the mark. Like that last lady. She told me that men are better at leading than women because she likes Trump. Okay, let's hear in general why men are better at leading than women.
Well, this is why I think you're going to be surprised. I actually agree with you,
And why are you in the chair?
and I respectfully disagree with some of them. Well, I'm just saying some of the points that they were bringing up about a woman being pregnant, and because somebody's can carry a baby, that they're not fit to lead.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's the same argument where we say men go to work and come home, and the woman stays and handles the household and the children. So is that not a powerful position? And I also have to, I'm respectfully disagreeing here, and I want you to give me an example. If you can tell me hypothetically of a woman that you think would be a better leader than Trump right now.
So just to clarify, you don't think men are better at leading than women?
No, Dean, because
Perfect.
if I'm in,
I'm
if
really
I'm,
happy. I'm really happy that you don't think that.
I just told you, I agree with you, right?
I want you and everybody else in the room to obviously not think that men are better at leading than women. But unfortunately, the nature of this Surrounded episode is where we have disagreeers in the hot seat.
Yes, so I'm asking
I'm happy
you.
you're not, though.
So if we're walking down a dark alley, let's say we're on Figueroa or something, I would be the person having to protect you. I mean, everybody's built differently. I feel like I would have
What
to
is
be
that?
protecting you.
What?
I'm taller. I'm sure
Yeah,
I weigh more than
get
you.
her out of
I
that
mean, we can
chair.
take as many classes as you want,
Wow. Yeah.
but it's true, Dean.
I
I'm
guess like yeah, if let's just say a hypothetical scenario, I'm living a life of crime. I'm a robber. I see them two walking down the street, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna rob him, but he's probably gonna put up a fight and or something and things. If I see her and she's like looking at me like that, I'm like, hey, what? I'm like taking the ski mask off. I'm like, hey, why are you looking at me like that? Like, lower, tilt your head at a 90-degree angle, lower your eyes and eyebrows. Like, just look at me. No, I can't even go about the robbery. I'm like, yeah, so I guess I don't know. Maybe she might, but I feel like it's more of a psychological thing than like, physical and stuff. She doesn't strike me as somebody that can physically, yeah, because it's like there was that one video where it was like the old lady. She was like, she went up to the robber and was like, I don't think your gun is real. I'm like, I think she got pistol whipped or something. I'm like, yeah, you're that type of person that it's like you want to be a hero, but like you just don't have that form of being a hero. So
Listen,
Men and women are.
I'm not going to disrespect your ego the same way you're attempting to insult me, and that's fine.
Well, no,
See, I'll
it's
be the
a
bigger person here.
no.
That's
It's
the difference
it's a
between the left
size
and the right.
comparison. So it depends on where this conversation is going. If you're looking at body
That's funny,
type,
though.
I'm sorry, there are women that are larger
Can
than
you guys
men.
vote her out because she doesn't think that
Yeah,
men are better at
I
leading
wanna,
than women?
Chris, it does sound like you agree on this.
I know
Yeah.
it's
So
like,
we're gonna have you
what are
return to your
you
seat and
what are
we'll
you
bring back
talking
Mr. Grant.
about?
Okay.
See,
right.
and this is what happens when a follower tries to think for themselves. Like they spent their whole years like relying on, because yeah, you could tell she was definitely that person. She was like friends with the mean girls. They would insult her right to her face, and she wouldn't even say anything about it. She's like, "Oh, you guys, y'all are just kidding around. You guys are just," and probably don't even talk about them because it's like, yeah, it's like she wants to have, I guess, like this leading figure, but at the same time, like in the back of her head, or not, no, where it's like covering all of her head, where she wants to be a follower and stuff. No, what she is, it's like she can want to, she is a follower and stuff. But yeah, overall though, it's like she tries thinking for herself, but it just doesn't come out properly. It's kind of like when you watch a rapper that's not good at freestyles, going up on like one of those like radio shows, and then they try to do something, and they just kind of like bobbing their head to the song and might say like a sentence here and there, and it's like, yeah, bro, just go back to the studio, because it's like when they get put on blast, and then it's like, you're all right, you finally have the chance to speak and say some things, and then that's what you'd say. It's like, hey, I can handle a robbery situation better than you can because I'm larger than you and stuff. And it's like, okay, Amy Schumer, I'm like, a lot of people are larger than me. It's like, what are you trying to prove
If you
here?
disagree with this claim and you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hello.
Your name's Julia?
Julia Kate. So I want to ask you, inherent in your statement that men are not better leaders than women,
Yeah.
there's the sense that you believe men and women are different, correct?
I think that there's obviously distinctions between men and women, or else we wouldn't have two different words to refer to two
Okay,
different groups.
so what are some of the distinctions?
Well, I mean, there's distinctions in the sense of cultural and social attitudes and behaviors. There's going to be that are, of course, innate to men and women, because
So
I
you
don't
don't
think
believe
that
in innate
prescriptive.
distinctions?
I don't think that prescriptive gender norms exist. Now, like from your perspective, that we were to define the genders on the basis of sex, of course, then there's going to be sexual dimorphism, and there's going to be differences present within that. Of course, like there's a plethora of differences. Listen, I'm not denying that there are differences between men and women, because once
Differences
again,
biologically.
if there
differences.
wasn't differences between men and women, well, then we wouldn't have two distinct groups.
Okay, so we
But
agree on that.
what my claim
Mhm.
is I don't think that any of the differences that exist between men and women would amount to being relevant to justify the claim that men are better at leading than women.
Do you
I'll
think
actually
women
ask
are better
you.
at leading than men?
No, I actually think that gender is completely irrelevant to the
Interchangeable is
prospects
what you're saying.
of if somebody is.
It's like, Julia and the Chipmunks, can you just let me say what I need to say? I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, it's just when they keep cutting people off, and I'm like, can I just please say something? I'm like, dang, just do like that real quick or something. I don't know. Take like what's like that reverse helium stuff that makes their voice deeper. I'm like, just do something. I don't know. But
Better at leading than the
anyways.
other person. I ultimately think that there's going to be no determinative ability, regardless if we're making the claim that men are better at leading than women or women are better at leading than men, to ever make that
Okay,
prescriptive
so what
claim.
I'm hearing is that men and women are essentially interchangeable in your mind.
Well, in my mind, once again, I just don't
Just
believe
yes
in
or
the
no.
prescriptive gender norms.
Okay,
And I
got
think
you.
that ultimately one's gender is irrelevant.
That's one thing I don't like when people when they do things like that. I feel like it's something that, people they do a lot of times in conversations, but it's like, ma'am, you haven't said a whole lot for you asked me a question, and then you're expecting me to say yes or no to a question that requires a full length answer. I'm that's yeah, I can't do that. I have to, say, because it's just I feel like that's just a way of somebody trying to make it seem like that they won the conversation. It's like you didn't win unless like I'm like, hey, I can't think of nothing to say to that. I'm like, no, you're right, and I'm giving you credit and stuff. But if not that, then it's like, ma'am, I still have something to say. I'm like, see, I'm like, you keep cutting the person off. You don't know what I'm saying. I think what she's just trying to do is, and I've dealt with people like this where it's like they find something wrong with what you're saying and then they try to like argue with that. And it's like, ma'am, I'm saying more than just that. You're paying attention to a corner. Meanwhile, I'm talking on like a whole room full of stuff. So,
leadership capabilities. If you can tell me what are the relevant differences between men and women
Yes.
that make men better at leading than women?
Yes, we can go back to the hunter and gatherers when men were the ones going out to hunt and women were the ones staying with the children and gathering fruits and nuts. Men are the people that go towards risk, that go towards provision naturally. Why is it that in today's, even our influencer community, we have more women that are drawn towards beauty, makeup, things like family, schooling, and men are more drawn towards traditionally masculine things? It's innate in every culture that you see this trend. We are hormonally different. That's been mentioned throughout this place. You, as a man, do not know what it's like to have a cycle, to have a period, to have your hormones go up and down.
Yeah.
That is insanely significant for a woman's ability to lead. And women will complain about being scared to walk on the streets at night, and yet they'll elect the same politicians that release.
it's like I'm scared of walking the streets at night. That's why when you guys see me, my thing is this. If you put yourself in a situation where you're walking the streets at night, I'm like, hey, that's on you. But I think most people are. I'm like, I'm scared of walking the streets during the day. I'm like, if I see something out the ordinary or if I hear something out of the ordinary, I think that's just a natural human reaction. It's like, okay, whatever that is, I'm like, I'm not going to be, I'm like, hey, who's there? Who's out there? I'm hauling it. I'm running full speed. I'm like, I have sneakers. I'm obviously, so I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm out of there. I'm an athletic person to where I'm like, hey, whatever it is that's chasing me, you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to, use some of that, that lung, muscle and stuff. Cause yeah, I'm like, I'm not just gonna, I'm like, oh, I'm like, me being a masculine man, I'm like, no, I gotta go out there and investigate. No, if I'm, my thing is this. Let's go back to that scenario where it's like, me and a woman, or yeah, man, woman's walking down the street, I'm the man, and then we hear something out of the ordinary, like something rattling in the trash can. I'm like, hey, we gotta go. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds big. So I'm like, we gotta go. She was like, well, no, it's just like you're the masculine. I'm not a masculine man. I'm like, I'm a smart man. I'm like, and smart men usually avoid situations like that.
The
So
criminals on the street.
Do you think that women should lose the right to vote?
I think that I'm not talking about that today.
You just gotta get a quick yes or no, then go
I
back to
think
the
that
topic.
we need strong alpha males like Donald J. Trump, Spencer Pratt, and our loved Charlie Kirk, who
Oh,
will
Jesus.
Man.
have secure borders, who will not let criminals
Did you
on
just
the street.
unironically say strong alpha males?
Strong alpha males, yeah.
Bro, get a grip. Stand up.
You
Listen.
bro, get a grip. You're a man. You want to mansplain to me?
Well, I mean, actually, you just said that men are better at leading than women,
I
so you
do.
should listen to every word that
I
comes out
am
of my mouth per
listening.
your perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that men are the strong alpha males and women are the emotional followers, why
I
won't you
think-
follow my lead and listen to what I have to say?
First off,
Because you don't believe what
that
you
is a
say.
straw man. I believe that male and female are created equal in the image of God. We each have the same dignity and the same value. We have the same brain, the same rationality, but we have different and distinct roles.
Okay.
Why is it that women can get pregnant? Only females can get pregnant.
Well, of course, that would boil down to the physical biology.
Physical biology.
because
and
that
isn't
of
that
the-
innate that women are more geared towards child rearing and child raising than men are?
So once again,
and the thing is this, then like them bringing up like pregnancies and stuff. I'm like, so again, I just feel like it needs to be said that yes, a man doesn't know what a woman goes through with her body from cycles and everything else and pregnancies and all of that. But I think it's safe to say that a woman's education is still there while she's pregnant. Yes, I believe that, she is going through her pregnancy, but I do feel like that most women still know how to operate while being pregnant. So that's me complimenting women. I feel like that, yeah, because I feel like, okay, so let's say if I were to say something along the lines like, oh, women can't think straight if they're pregnant and stuff, then it's like that's going to be an argument itself. So I'm like, I'm going to go based off of what I've seen. Yeah, I'm like, there are, so I just feel like that really boils down to, the person that you're dealing with rather than like the whole gender itself. And I think he did say something along those lines. And yeah, I just, yeah, Julia and the Chipmunk, she's not hearing that. She, like I said, she only wants to hear what she wants to
The
hear.
way that we started this conversation was by me agreeing that there are going to be differences between men and women. You
Exactly.
just simply
So men
Could
are
I
better
finish?
leaders.
I would love if I could finish. You can't say because there's differences between two things that
Yeah.
thereby innately one of the two things is going to be better at leading than the other. Like, I think that's ridiculous. Listen, once again, my claim is that the differences that do exist between men and women ultimately don't amount to justifying the claim that men are better at leading than women. And let me respond because you made a lot of claims.
On and on.
I think it's been the opposite.
Okay.
To respond to your claims,
Thank
you
you,
said
sir.
that there's a difference in the hormonal balances of men and women that make women more emotional. Well, I mean, I already went over this with
It's not even just more emotional. It's that our bodies are not equipped to handle the same levels of cortisol as men. We
They're
need
actually
more
more
care.
equipped.
Look at Donald Trump. The
They're
man
more
literally
equipped.
lives off of Diet Coke and McDonald's.
Okay.
We could not do that.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's your guys' arguments. I don't think you're hearing yourself. I'm like, here it is. There's so many different political things that you could have brought to this table. You just said that this man lives off of Diet Coke and McDonald's. How does that tell me that he's a good leader? Like, I'm just saying, that to me doesn't even make any sense. He's a good leader because he eats a lot of McDonald's and drinks Diet Coke. Okay, and I'm like, what does that have to do with them? I'm like, hey guys, I'm like, I'm gonna lead the country by eating McDonald's and drinking Diet Coke. Vote for me. I'm like, and I expect to get my voters when I become that eligible age on, receive, because I'm gonna run for president. That's what I'm gonna, everything that they're saying, all the things that the women are saying and stuff. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna, say in my, presidential campaign and stuff. I'm like, vote for me. I eat a lot of McDonald's and I drink a lot of Diet Coke. I'm American, besides African American, I'm American. Wave a flag. And then there's like the whole prompt thing. I'm like, hey, this is approved message by the United States government, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, and it's like, but like, you see how silly that sounds? They don't hear that because it's like their brain is telling them, it's like, yeah, this is the right thing to do. It's like, if you ever seen that movie Inside Out, I think they got her on autopilot. No, 100%. They got her on autopilot, or they're using like some like embedded like chat GPT, mod in her brain or
Listen,
something.
actually, women are more equipped than men to deal with stress. It is proven by
That's
the science.
actually not true.
No, I'll tell you. You could look this up. Anybody at home could look this up. Women have thicker dendrites in their brain, and study after study after study has concluded time and time and time again
Do
that
you
this
think-
gives women the ability to better manage their stress than men. And you actually brought this up. You brought up childbirth. The reason why women have thicker dendrites in their brain, giving
We
them
are
a
made to
greater
go through
navigation
physical
ability,
pain for
giving
our
them a greater
children.
giving them a greater ability to deal with their pain and stress is because of childbirth, okay?
Yes,
And
because
that's
childbirth
exactly why
is a
women can
big
deal with their
thing.
stress better than men. So your claim that the opposite is true is wrong. And plus,
We-
once again, when we look in society, how men deal with stress compared to how women deal with stress, well, when a man gets mad, he commits a violent crime, he kills his wife, he kidnaps
Do
his
you know-
children, he sets
okay.
his house ablaze. And this is why men are significantly more likely to commit every single crime on the books,
We need
including
strong
crimes
men.
that do not have a necessity for any use of physical strength, such as
It's
arson.
like, yeah, and I'm like, there is strong men out there and stuff. And then it's just, I think that the whole like strong men thing, it's like, yeah, I feel like that most men out there, we have our moments where we are strong, but there's a lot of the times where I could just say for myself, like, and that's the thing where it's like, if a woman wants to say that oh, men are stronger and this and that, you're allowed to say that. That doesn't make it true, though. I'm like, I've had my days where I've been down and out. I'm not going to do nothing crazy about it. But yeah, I've had my days where I've been down and out, depressed. I'm like, dang, man, how am I going to get through this? How am I going to get through that? But I just think that when you're educated, you figure it out. Obviously, it's like, okay, if I'm having issues with this part of my life, then it's like, okay, what could I do to fix that? So I guess I'm just one of those guys where I'm like, I don't know. I guess I ain't gonna say scientifically I'm stronger, but I just have my moments where I'm like, I don't want to be down and out anymore. So yeah, it's like, but yeah, it's like everybody I think has their breaking point. It just depends on what their breaking point is. And I hear what he's saying where I'm like, yeah, there are some men out there where their breaking point is like, okay, I gotta go crazy and I gotta shoot this place up, or take my anger out on my family or whatever and things. And so, but everybody is like built different and stuff. And I feel like that was also said at some point, but anyways.
Cyberbullying
If you think
or,
women are
or
such good leaders,
terroristic
why won't you
threats.
let me speak?
Well, I'll happily let you speak in response to the things that I've said, as long as you're able to stay on
I
topic
am
and
able to
respond to
stay
the
on
meat on the
topic
bone.
because I'm a woman and I have a brain. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I guess women are better at leading than men.
No, we're not. We're
Oh,
good
okay.
at certain roles. We
You don't
have
have
our
a brain.
strengths and our values. We're good at raising children. We're very smart and adaptable. But men are the people that need to be out there fighting crime for us, protecting us, so that we feel safe and we can keep our children safe? Why do you think that just historically, more men are CEOs, more men are presidents, senators, whatever kind of leadership role you want to talk about? That is not because of white supremacy, colonization, or some kind of legal limit. It's because men are drawn to those roles. Today, women have the same exact rights as men, and still, a lot of them choose to stay at home or feel that they can't stay at home because of societal pressures.
Okay. Well, I think that you said it there at the end. Societal pressures. Societal pressures are the reason why I think that we've seen more men in positions of power, more men in leadership fields, and more men calling the shot. But if you're the position that underpins your claim here would be that if we see an overrepresentation of men in a field in comparison to women, that men are then by definition better performing in that field. So in the same way you're claiming that because of a vast majority of leaders are men, therefore women are worse at leading, would you also claim that men are better at surgery than women because 85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women? I just want to direct yes or no to my question,
I
so then
think
I can
that
follow
most
this
men
up with a dialogue.
become surgeons because it's a more masculine thing. It takes more masculine traits.
Could
To
you just
have
answer
to
my
look at
question?
the blood. I said yes.
How is that a masculine? I don't know. I never looked at being a surgeon a masculine job, but it's a job that I wouldn't do. Like if there was like, so like let's just say like I don't know, a figure, a spirit came up to me, and then a woman appeared next to me, and you know she wants to be a surgeon. I don't care for being a surgeon. I mean, if I had the abilities to be a surgeon, then yeah, sure. But that's the thing though, where I'm like I'm cutting open a person, and then it's like I'm having to do all that. I'm like I got a weak stomach. I can't do things like that because I'm like hey, that like move that over there and stuff. They were like Dr. TMossBoss, you gotta look. I'm like I don't want to look. I'm like just move that over. Open that part up and stuff. So yeah, I think it just really sums it up to if you want to be a surgeon, then okay. But if not, then I mean, if it's a job dominated by men, I'm like, there's a lot of jobs out there dominated by men, but it's like that doesn't necessarily mean that they're cut out for the job. When you look at police officers, where it's like, for an example, that one cop that shot that woman because he thought she was getting ready to throw like some boiling water on him. Do you think he was cut out because it's a male dominant job? Do you think that he was cut out for that job? So again, everybody is different. I'm like, yeah, if my thing is this, if there's dominant men in a position at whatever job and they all can do their job correctly, then I feel like that's one of those jobs where it's like, yeah, just, leave it up to the men. But it's like, if you see where a male surgeon can mess up and kill somebody on the table, a police officer can mess up and shoot and kill somebody, talking about, oh, I, thought that they were getting ready to do this, or I felt my life was threatened, or a firefighter is all like, oh, I'm calling out today, even though there was half of the houses in the city or whatever being burnt down. I'm like, that's a man that's not cut out for his job. But I'm like, if a woman can take in that same position and be cut out, I'm like, that's when a woman is cut out for the job. They're not hearing that. But
I want to ask you,
I
would
have
you
to hop
agree
in here.
that men are more oppressed today than women? Men are told that they're toxic for being masculine. The only laws that prevent any gender
Please
from
don't
getting
vote
a
her
role,
out. I need to respond.
we have laws in favor of women getting leadership roles. We're taking opportunities away from men. You are oppressed more than me.
This shit gets crazy. Okay, listen. I think that you're crazy because you just said that I'm more oppressed than you, while also claiming that I'm a better leader than you after making the argument that disproportionately men have been in positions of leadership throughout history when leadership is what grants power. But anyways, insanity. Listen, I asked you a question. I said, do you think that men are better at surgery than women? Because 85% of surgeons are men and 15% of surgeons are women. The reason why I asked this question is because you made the claim that men are better at leading than women because a vast majority of leaders have been men. You said, yes, Dean, because a vast majority of surgeons are men, therefore men are better. The science says, no, men are actually worse at surgery. So the American Medical Association did a study in conjunction with the Journal of the American Medical Association. They did this study on 1.4 million patients over 6 continents in 14 years. And what they determined consistently is that when we account for every single confounding variable that could possibly exist, every single time, men are significantly more likely to kill a patient on the operating table or to give them negative postoperative outcomes in comparison to women. It is one of the most well-accredited studies ever conducted in human history that has reasonably concluded that women are better at surgery than men, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. And this is exactly what debunks your claim that if a field is overrepresented by men, that therefore men are better at performing in it.
Of our natural desires and what men and women are naturally drawn to.
But women are better at surgery, even though they account for a minority of surgeons. That completely debunks your argument.
Sure, that could be a thing, but I'm saying
So
that naturally men are drawn towards roles of risk and provision. That's because of innate biological characteristics.
But women are better at surgery.
And I said that you're oppressed because of society telling you that you need to be a beta, woke man. You are not like oppressed as a leader. Like instinctually, you want to lead, you want to teach me. That's because of your nature, and I appreciate that very much. But I disagree with your claims.
Okay, well, I mean, you have to concede here that your argument that men are better at leading than women because more men are leaders than women
That
is
was not
false.
my
And the
argument. That
reason
is
Okay,
a
we gotta stop there. We're out of time, so please return to your seat.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
That's a rounded episode you watching, got you scratching your head again, thinking, damn, I've rage-baited myself on a Jubilee video again? Well, I got something else that's going to do the same thing to you, or possibly teach you something. You've probably seen me before. I'm Austin Julio Broughton, and I'm a Christian populist.
And I'm David Mauricio, and I guess I could call myself a progressive. On this show, we're doing something revolutionary. We're trying to bridge the gap in a uniquely divided America by destroying these echo chambers and addressing the issues plaguing everyday Americans. Tune into our show, The Split, Sunday, June 28th on Jubilee.
my next surrounded claim is Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator.
Okay, if you want to debate this
Safe
claim,
to say
please
that.
get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Ain't she the one that was like, respect your
What's your name?
Shiva Bagari.
Shiva Bagari. Well, would you like...
Shiva Bagari? I'm like, is your name backwards? Like, I'm like, no, say it, but then like somebody record and then reverse it, because I'm like, yeah, your parents was putting a curse on you when they birthed
Need
you.
to
But
take it away by explaining to you why I think Donald Trump is
Sure,
a
yeah.
misogynistic sexual predator.
Yeah.
First and foremost, he's a sexual predator because a court has held him civilly liable for raping a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. Of course, raping somebody is something that would make one a sexual predator. In 2005, he also boasted about engaging in sexual violence by sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants at the beauty pageants that he owned by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies.
I heard
And
about
this isn't
that.
an allegation from some woman that you could defame and say just wants money or fame. No, this was an admittance of guilt, something that Donald Trump said he did on Howard Stern's radio show. And I see you shaking your head. I'll happily play you the clip if you want. We also
yes,
see...
please show me the clip because I
What did
do
you do?
not believe it. Yes, take it out.
Don't worry, I got
it's funny. I remember I seen a video a while back on TikTok. That guy he approached. It was some like random dude that was on the street. And he was like, some Trump supporter, and the guy brought that up, and he was all like how he was, he is a predator and stuff, and he was like, oh no, Trump, he's not a predator. He was like, but it's like if there's evidence showcasing it, I mean, like, I just don't. It's people like that where I'm like, I refuse to have a conversation with them. That, on a serious note, I don't think I would ever do something like this, because it's people where it's like you hit them with evidence and then they still don't believe it, and then it's like, so what is it? Is it going to have to, like, I guess, like Trump doing something to you? Like, and then that would be my question. Trump walks in on you in the changing room or whatever. You don't want nobody to see you, but are you going to allow him to look because he's Trump? But and my thing is this. Okay, if that's the case, let's say it's a man that looks like Trump. Let's say it's a Donald Trump impersonator. Would you allow that same thing to him? Because it's like, if that's the case, then it's like, ma'am, you don't respect your body. So it's like you just allow anybody to take advantage of you. I'm like, make that make sense.
Okay, good.
So you have done that. Well, I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show, yes, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere, and I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that everything is good. Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you
Wow.
see these incredible looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
Why don't we start
Wow.
there? Mike's yours.
Okay, well, he said that he probably sees them. It doesn't say they're naked there, so
He said they don't have no clothes. I'm like, what part of? I'm like, I last I checked, when I usually don't have no clothes on and I'm seeing my goods, that usually indicates, oh, I'm naked. Weird thing to say out loud, but yeah, that's one of those things where I'm like, last I check, I feel like that's the the definition of having no clothes on is it usually it's an exposure of your body. So I'm like, you define what no clothes on mean. It's like, do you have like a secret layer of clothes on? Like, I'm like, oh, if that's the case, I'm like, then let me know of that technology. I
They might
just
have- no, it doesn't.
You said that they have no clothes on. When you have no clothes on,
No,
you're naked.
who said that they didn't have clothes on?
Donald Trump.
He didn't say that in the clip.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Okay, again,
I'm like, female Tiger King. I'm like, are you deaf? Like, take that tight hat off.
Is everybody okay?
There you go.
Oh well, it's like he didn't actually say clothes, but
yeah.
he said clothes.
I think it's important for us to be intelligent.
She's really, oh wow. Yeah, I'm like it's one of those things where I'm like, obviously you can't do that. You can't invade nobody's privacy, but it's like that's definitely a question I would have for her. So it's like a man walks in on you that you don't want to walk in on you. How would that make you feel? So it's like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so how do you think them women feel where it's like Trump's walking in on them? He's like, oh, well, I own the pageant, so I'm allowed to walk in on you. It's crazy how people like they have like that concept of thinking.
Rational people.
Okay,
You're
so
saying no clothes, and
yeah,
then Howard Stern says, so you're like a
I
doctor.
definitely don't
Why
agree
did
with
Howard
that.
Stern
Okay,
say you're
first
like a
off,
doctor? Because doctors get to see
I
people
don't.
naked.
Okay, I don't agree with that. But men are men, and men have testosterone, and men love beautiful women. And
I like okay. Time out. Flag on the play. 10-yard penalty. We gonna have to go back on that. If I am in a settings where it's a clothing store, a beauty pageant, a Victoria's Secret still counts as a clothing store, but I think they sell like a bunch of things women related. If there is a time where I am somewhere and women are undressing and I am aware of them undressing, I'm not going to go back there and be like, hey, ladies, testosterone is rolling through my body right now. I'm like, let me see what you guys got going on. And it's, yeah, I'm like, ma'am, that's what you usually call a sexual predator. So I just shouldn't have to explain that to a woman that she's been around for some time, and it seems like that it might mean something else too that she's been around for some time. But
trust me,
anyways,
I would prefer a man that actually looks at women and is sexually attracted to women than someone that is not.
question. I'm like, when was the last time a man was sexually attracted to you? Because if so, I'm like, I feel like that if we're talking about a white male, okay, that is sexually attracted to you, he's looking in the mirror. I'm like, if you guys is, doing the business and stuff, he's gonna open his eyes, realize what he's looking at, and it's gonna be one of those moments where it's like he's like, I gotta get my life right. I'm like, I can't live like this. I'm like, I looked at you and seen myself. I shouldn't have to see that. And I'm like, nah, lady.
And I actually like looking at women too, and I'm not even a lesbian, but I think women's bodies are beautiful. It's like
Ma'am,
art
I'm
to
sorry.
me.
No,
It's art
I'm sorry.
to me.
This
now,
is
now,
disgusting.
No, and
you just told me that you would
Yes.
prefer a man who, quote unquote, likes the female body and is willing to barge into the private
Well, no,
women's
I
only
said-
dressing
no,
room and
I
still look
said
at them while they have no
before that-
clothes on.
I said
compared
before
to
that
you're saying I think that
I
real
said
men
I
with
don't believe
testosterone are
that's right.
sexual predators.
So you just lied about me right now because I said I don't believe what he did was right
but
by
it was
going
the
in there.
but I would prefer a man who likes
You
the
just tried to defend him and said that he didn't say all of clothes. He just said 80% of the word, but it cut off. So therefore, he could be saying clothifist or something. I'm like, clothifist isn't a word, but I'm just saying it's like, ma'am, what other words do you know that sounds like based on the conversation that he's having, what other words can you use for that? So I'm telling you, when debating people, ask them hard-hitting questions. I'm like, when you ask them hard-hitting, I mean, he's doing it. I'm like, Dean Withers is doing it right now, but when you ask people hard-hitting questions, it's like they avoid the question, talk about any and everything else. And it's so funny because I'm like, even the times when people have tried to debate me, like, for those that don't know, fun fact, I was in the speech and debate class when I was in high school. So there was some things I picked up from that classroom, but it's definitely one of those things where I'm like, if you're debating me about something that I mentally know more about, it's like, ma'am, it's just, yeah, I guess I don't know if we talk. I feel like I'm gonna say some things where it's like, people are gonna be going off on me, but I'm like, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, no, this woman is crazy. I'm like, the stuff that she's saying, yeah, I'm like, yeah, if we're talking about physically being shaped like a question mark, then it's like, okay, yeah, sure. But I'm like, other than that, I'm like, the conversation that we're having right now, I'm like, ma'am, you're on the losing end. I'm like, you're out for the count. I'm like, referee is he's counting up there, and I'm like, you out for the count right now.
naked bodies of women that got
I've
it.
been over someone that is attracted to other men. Yes,
Why?
absolutely, because it's not natural.
It's not natural
It's
to be gay?
natural to be attracted to the opposite
Define
sex.
natural.
Natural is what God made, Adam and Eve.
So God didn't make gay people?
Well,
I
actually,
thought that God was the creator of all.
No, that's sin, and sin came from the devil.
No, sin is a conscious decision. Being gay is not a conscious decision.
Well, actually, being gay is a conscious decision.
Okay, could you choose
it's
to be
an
gay?
action. It's an action.
Could you choose to be gay?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you choose
I
to be
actually could have
listen,
choose
hey,
to be day when I was younger.
Could you choose to
I
be
could've-
attracted to your
A
mom?
lot of women actually
Could
tried
you
to hit
choose
on
to be
me,
attracted
and
to your
I
mom?
said
If
no.
attractions are a
But
choice,
I
could
do
you
look
choose to be
at-
attracted to your mom?
Huh? Can you choose to be a pedophile?
No, I couldn't choose to be a pedophile. Could you choose to be
Oh,
attracted to your
okay.
mom?
Oh, so there you go. He thinks no, it's an action, honey, and you can choose to sin or you can choose not to sin. I try to keep the devil away from
Can
me.
I just get a clear answer
and,
to the question?
And no, this is a clear answer. But see, you don't come from a
Her clear answer. And that's the thing, when people, I feel like a lot of times in this day and age, people, I mean, it's been going on for a while. It's like, I mean, yeah, look at the movie Carrie. I feel like that's I don't know, like because I can't think of too many movies beforehand that was, you see like there's a character in there misusing the Bible. But overall, though, and it's like then they want to like kind of because I like currently, as you guys can see, I do have two Bibles. I read them every day, and that's the thing where I'm like, despite what I'm reading, because I'm starting off in the beginning, so I am reading the Old Testaments and I'm seeing the stuff that's going on in there, and yeah, I'm like, man, this is some crazy stuff and things. But I do feel like a lot of times, like people they misuse the Bible and then they try to use something that they've seen in there for like some real life stuff, and I'm like, fam, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, like I was saying though, it's like, you see movies like Carrie where it's like the mom, but it's like, and it's real life. The funny thing is about movies like that is that even though it's a fictional movie, it might not be based off of an actual person, but I guarantee and I promise you they're all like, oh yeah, this has definitely happened at some point in time. Like a mom or a parent that went crazy and stuff. But it's like it's the Bible. But you see it in so many different, because I'm trying to think, was Carrie a Stephen King movie? I can't, because I know there was like that other movie, The Mist, and then you had it where that was there that crazy. But it's like there's people out there that misuse the Christian religion, and it's one of those things where I'm like, coming from a Christian, I'm like, when I see people do that, I'm like, did you create the Christian religion, or are you like you're trying to remix it? I'm like, you can't remix a religion and expect people to believe whatever it is that you believe in with that religion. That's what you programmed your brain to tell you. But I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to that because you think I should listen to it. So
biblical standpoint.
What are
You
the first
come
four
from a
books in the New
worldly
Testament?
standpoint. I come from a biblical standpoint that there's two sexes. There's no 50 different genders. That came from a pedophile named John Money who lied about a study to push reassignment surgery on thousands of people through his lie that butchered this poor boy and put him through hell. Reimer twins, go look it up on Oprah.
Yeah.
Okay? So
I'm gonna ask
you
the
don't
question
live
again.
you don't live in
I'm gonna ask the
reality.
question
I
again.
live in reality where I know that a
Jesus.
tree's a tree, a woman is a woman, a man's a man, and if you are
And a
choosing,
moron's a moron.
and if you're choosing, oh, see, that's what they do. When they
Oh,
can't win an argument, they go for calling.
Okay, pause. Everybody pause. Dean, we got to ask that you don't do personal attacks. That's a
Okay.
warning.
Okay. All right. So first and foremost, the question once again was, could you choose to be?
see, that's what I'm like. I got if I was on this Surrounded show, I'm like, yeah, I got kicked off after like I don't know, who knows? Maybe they might be all like, oh yeah, like we're having a no disqualification situation. I'm like, oh, I'm good at that. I'm a little bit of a wrestling fan, so I'm like, yeah, I like no disqualification. So I'm like, I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. All right, cool. So they were like, are you prepared? Like in case if you make a man or a woman upset, they be trying. I'm like, well, if it's a man, I'm fighting back, but if it's a woman, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, as she's hitting me, it's gonna be one of those like Green Goblin things where I'm laughing in her face and stuff, because I'm like, yeah, lady, it's like trust me, if it came down, if they put me in that same settings and I'm allowed to insult, oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of yelling, probably some swinging, me running around that place just having a good old time.
Attracted to your mother. The reason why I'm asking you this question is because you had suggested that all attractions are a choice.
It is
so
a
please,
choice.
with just a concise yes or no, could you choose to literally be sexually aroused by your mother? So there's two possible answers to this question. The first possible answer is yes, Dean, I could choose to be attracted to my own mother, and the second possible answer would be no, Dean, I could not
But
choose to
you're
be sexually
trying
aroused by my own
you're
mother.
trying to do a
So
hook
what's
on
your
me.
answer?
Could I
It's
just,
a hook.
do you have a yes or no for that?
No, because this is a hook. Because I will never be attracted to
But
my
could you
mother and
choose?
father because it's a choice, but I would never do that because I'm a Christian.
So could you choose?
That's it. I'm not
It
gonna.
it shouldn't have to matter what religion it is. Morally, it's wrong. It's not, oh, it's like, well, if I'm not, then it's like, oh, okay, then I can just, it's free will to do whatever. No, there's no free will to just do whatever. There's things that are wrong, and then there's things that are right. And I'm like, ma'am, you're wrong. I'm like, it's just, yeah, you're wrong, lady. I'm like, I don't know what it is that you got going on,
Didn't
but
say that on camera. That's weird. And I'm not going to be in the hook of this young man that's 21-year-old telling a 52-year-old to say something.
I'm like, you're 52. Dang. I'm like, does that? I'm like, are we talking 52 AD or 52 BC? I'm like, because 52 BC, you gotta do the math, carry the 1, 2, 5, and then all the other. Yeah, I'm like, that might be. I don't know. Like it's. Like with my calculations, you definitely you was I don't know you was there for Jesus's like crucifixion and stuff. So yeah, I'm like it's one of those things. I'm like she don't look 52. I'm like I don't know, maybe she might sound 52, but I'm like look wise. I'm like yeah, I'm like you look like Ric Flair back in 2008 when he was retiring in WrestleMania, and I was like how old was he at that time? Like 60 something. So but anyways.
Disgusting like that.
So you admit that it's disgusting to think that you could choose to be attracted to your mother.
We got to stop there that you've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat. If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
She got there fast.
Howdy.
She's
Hi,
like, I got
how are
something
I'm
to say.
doing phenomenal.
My name is Zuriel.
Zuriel, it's a pleasure
Nice
to meet you.
you.
We're going to go back to the prompts. I think that Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator. The reasons why I think this are some of them that I shared with the last guest. It's because I think that Donald Trump is he had a civil court determine that he raped a woman by the name of E. Jean Carroll. We listened to that clip of Donald Trump bragging about engaging in sexual violence. Listen, I take a sexual predator to be somebody that is engaged in sexual violence. Donald Trump.
It's like trying to hold on for 1 second. I gotta look for because my headset just made a noise, letting me know that I need to charge it. So give me 1 moment. All right, I'm back. I don't know when exactly I'm going to end things off with this video. Maybe either after her or after the next person. I thought that was the woman where she was all like, oh, respect your elders or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe sometime soon I am going to end it and then continue on so it ain't like a big old giant video and stuff. But anyways.
Bragged about that when he said he barged into the dressing rooms of the women at Miss Teen USA and Miss USA. If Donald Trump's admission of guilt in that clip that I played to the last lady is true, and this is indeed something that Donald Trump has done, then by definition, Donald Trump would be a sexual predator, and thereby, by definition, I'd be right.
Can we both agree that people in power of elitists, people up there in politics, all have their own, maybe their own immoral traits to why they're running for candidacy? Like we've heard about Epstein files,
Yes.
about all these different people that, maybe they're not really here to make a change for us.
Yes.
Can we agree with that?
Yes.
I could care less about what Donald Trump says on the media, because
But
I
it's-
believe as long as he
What?
does his very best to be a good president and do the best for this economy, I don't vote for a president based off their character. I vote for them based off what they can get done. Honestly,
I would like to.
Okay. We gonna have to talk about that. So imagine my thing is this, right? Let's just say you have the best manager talking to that woman. You have the best manager at your job, but he smacked your butt, grabbed your breast, did any and everything possible to invade your privacy. But he's the best manager, all right? He's good for the job. There's nobody else that can take that job. How'd that make you feel about that? So, or even if it is something where it's like you changing and then he's just sitting there looking at you and stuff, he's good for the job though. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's things like that where I'm like, ma'am, you're trying to like, I guess, like have it where it's like he's right for being president, but I'm like he's not though. It's like because he becomes president, it's like now he has like a like he like not like a proper role or anything, but overall like he's he's in a serious position in life, so it's like he has to be a serious person. But no, that doesn't take away. That's like, okay, so a person has a kid and they're all like, okay, I got to be a changed man now. But it's like that still doesn't take away what they did in their past. I'm like, yeah, it might not be still going on today, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, I feel like if anybody else, so let's just say if I had a crazy past, let's just say it was all like, oh, I was running for president, but I have a DUI charge or something. I guarantee you and I promise you a Trump supporter about like, oh no, he's a drunk, he's an alcoholic. They would, and that's the thing, how Trump supporters, how they are. You can bring up stuff that Trump did. Oh, it's out the window. It's like, nope, that's not true. I'm like, or it's in the past. He's not doing it right now. Not even a DUI. Let me think of something. Jaywalking. They're like, oh no, he's a jaywalker. He doesn't respect this country. He doesn't respect the laws and the rules and all that stuff. And it's like, but you guys allowed Trump to be in office. Like, explain that one to me, please. I'm like, explain to me how is being a sexual predator, or how is being a jaywalker worse than being a sexual predator?
Just take a moment. Let's look at what you said.
Okay.
Are you saying, Dean, it's true Donald Trump is a misogynistic sexual predator, but I could care less because of his policy?
What I'm saying is,
Can I just get a
we
straight answer?
obviously can't deny that maybe he has bad traits of his character. I'm not going to agree that, like, I don't know everything about Trump like you do.
Okay,
But
let's start
what I
from the
care
top.
about is his economy. I don't care about what he has to say on
Let's start from the top of this
the
debate.
news.
You sit down. I tell you Donald Trump is a sexual predator. I tell you he's a sexual predator because he raped a woman and boasted about sexually exploiting beauty pageant contestants.
The reason why
you
I'm
respond,
not responding to
you
your
respond,
claim
you
is 'cause
respond.
I don't know much
Okay,
about what
so
you see
let's
in the
just
courthouse
test
and
your
whatnot.
logic. What do you say, Dean? Even if it
So I'm like, I think it's safe to say that, when you're showing up to, if you're taking a test in school, it's best to, do like some practice stuff to prepare you for the test. But you pretty much just showed up with the knowledge that you already have, and you're assuming that that's going to make you right on what you're talking about. You're going to fail that test.
was true Donald Trump was a sexual predator because you don't know about the evidence for it, which is something you should look into on your own time, I would
Right.
still support him as president and could care less. Is that your position?
I would still support him as president because he does what's best for the economy and for the American dream.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta stop.
Every
We gotta
person
pause
within
there.
that.
You've been voted out. We gotta pause.
Thank
Quote
you.
unquote, I would still support Donald Trump as president if he was a sexual predator. If he was a child rapist, they'd still support him.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2.
Hi.
Hi.
Was like hold on for a second. She was so delayed. I'm like, ma'am,
Hi.
what are you
Liz.
running
Nice
off
to
of?
meet you, Liz.
There is like the woman, I think she sit next to the woman here in the glasses, but it's like, do you like have like AOL dial-up internet or something? Like, what was that?
Nice to meet you.
Listen, I think that you've heard my arguments. You happen to be sitting in a position where you could hear my voice. Mic is yours.
Okay, so my question is, because you mentioned Donald Trump going into women's locker rooms.
Yeah.
Are all trans people sexual predators?
So I would not say that
What?
trans women are sexual predators for using the women's restroom. I think that the definition of sexual violence would be any sexual act that is done without consent, and I don't think that this would be true of trans women who use a women's restroom. And I have an argument for why I think that trans women should be able to use a women's restroom. But let's try to take advantage of our time. Instead of me giving you my argument, let's just hopefully stay on topic with the claim that Donald Trump is a sexual predator because he's raped a woman. He's boasted
Yeah, I'm
about
like,
sexually
Trump,
exploiting.
he's not a transgender. Like, he volunteered. No, the thing is this, by choice, okay, we bringing up this choice stuff, by choice, and he had the choice to not do it. By choice, this man walked into the changing areas of where the women were at this beauty pageant, and he was looking. So that's why I'm like, ma'am, what are you not understanding about that? You're trying to bring up transgenders. It's like, if there is a person that's, yeah, they changed their again, that's on them. That doesn't speak for all transgenders. So it's like, yeah. Oh my God. It's like, man, people, I'm telling you, it's like it's like they're playing a game of poker, but they bring their own cards. And it's like, no, you have to deal the cards that are at the table. You can't just bring your own cards and assume like, oh, okay, therefore I'm going to win the game. No, your argument's going to be invalid.
Exploiting women by barging into their dressing rooms and looking at their naked bodies without consent, then telling Howard Stern how much he
Okay.
loved it and how incredible they looked. He's mentioned the Epstein files over a million
but
times.
the women, the young women in sports who do not want biological men in their dressing rooms, doesn't that go against them?
Well, we
What
could-
about their safety?
I would love to have a conversation with you about trans people in dressing rooms, or sorry, more so locker rooms. And I understand where you're coming from if you say, well, I don't want a trans woman in my dressing room because I would see their naked body and their genitalia.
Well, no, it's
and
not-
the
it's not
reason
about-
the
no.
reason why I get it, the reason why I understand where you're coming from is because even when I go into my gym's locker room and I see other dudes with their dicks out, I'm like, hey, bro, I
And
don't really want them
I
to see
don't
me.
care-
I don't want
you
them
see,
to
I
see me.
don't care
So
about me, see, I
actually
don't want them to see
advocate.
me.
I advocate. One moment. I advocate for unisex.
It's like pretty much I'm like, no, it's like, and that's the thing, they're not going to do that at gyms and areas where it's like requires like people to change. But no, I think they should have it where it's like everybody has their own area and stuff. So it's like, yeah, maybe have it set up where it's kind of like a bathroom stall, but it's just an area where you can change. But my thing is this is where it makes you a sexual predator. If you peek your head under and you're looking at the person changing, that's what we're talking about. I could care less about changing rooms and all of that. It's like, yeah, that's just one of those things where it's like, if you put yourself in that situation to change in the changing room, it's like what he pretty much just said. You're gonna probably end up seeing some things. So yeah, that's why I'm like, I feel like that if you know that people like Trump is gonna be in the area, it's probably safe to say that you gotta change at home. But I mean, if you can't, then yeah, if you got people like him in the area, it's probably best not to be a part of that environment. But anyways.
Install one person at one time changing rooms in locker rooms and gyms and sports across the
Because
country.
the thing is,
That's my
part of
position.
part of
But
your
let's talk about the
claim-
claim
part-
that
yes,
Donald
no, but
Trump is a
this
sexual
is part of
predator.
the claim.
Well, you're not.
First of all,
Do you
accusation.
accept that Donald Trump is a sexual
I
predator?
can accuse you of being a sexual predator.
And if I admitted to doing it, then it would be true. Donald Trump admitted to barging into those dressing rooms, and a court found him guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll.
No, he did. No, they didn't. That's a lie.
They certainly did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Listen, do you accept that the definition of rape would include the penetration of a woman's vagina with any part of a man's body, including his fingers?
Without consent.
Yeah. So specifically, the action that the jury found Donald Trump guilty for was
but
forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's.
I think what's going on right now in the world with men and women is that women are accusing a lot of men of rape. And until I see actual proof, because a jury can just agree with that.
And their proof is they have to actually see it with their own eyes or go through it themselves. And it's people like that where I'm like, it's just, yeah, you could just see how, like, there's a lot of people where it's just they're so easily manipulated. But I feel like that goes for both man and woman, transgender, whoever, where it's like, if there's somebody that has more control over your brain than you, I'm like, you can't have a logical conversation with people like that. It's like, because you're going based off of what somebody else said. And then when we hit you with hard facts, then it's like, oh, that's not true. No, you just haven't done your research on it. So I'm like, that's why I'm like, ma'am, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about her. I'm like, I'm like, maybe she tans too much. I'm like, but I don't know. Maybe that might be her natural skin color, but I'm looking at everybody else. Yeah, maybe she just just sits in the sun too long. And I'm like, I just kind of like, what was that? Like that one movie, it was like Hannibal or something like that. And he took the guy's brain and he was eating on it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, maybe she does that. And she just takes the top off and things and lets her brain go through a little tanning.
That's something else, okay? Until there is actual proof and evidence. And if you can show me the proof that Donald Trump raped her, then fine.
Thank you so much for the great question. What's all the evidence? So the first form of evidence that we would have would be E. Jean Carroll's testimony, in which has maintained consistency for the last 30 years, as corroborated by 4 of her friends that testified under penalty of perjury. The second form of evidence that we'd have
lied under penalty of perjury.
Well, can you please
Sorry.
examine the evidence in which I provide as soon as I'm done providing it? We have therapist notes from the 90s indicating she was raped by Trump. We had the testimony of a psychotherapist that said when E. Jean Carroll was testifying to the fact she was raped by Donald Trump, she was exhibiting signs consistent with true trauma that we'd expect to be onset by a true victim of. Then we have Donald Trump's lies and inconsistencies. He lied. He said that he never met her as a part of his testimony for his defense. And then E. Jean Carroll responded by submitting a photo of them together to the court.
Do you
we
remember
also have,
every
I'm not done
single
with the evidence. I'm not done with the evidence. We have another line inconsistency on Donald Trump's behalf. He also said that he never raped her because she wasn't his type, but then he confused a picture of E. Jean Carroll to be his ex-wife Marla Maples under deposition, so clearly she was his type. Then we also have E. Jean Carroll's dress. E. Jean Carroll submitted a dress to the court, claiming it was the dress that she was raped in by Donald Trump. Court confirmed it had male DNA on it, and then when the court asked Donald Trump to provide a DNA sample to test against the DNA in the dress, he said, no. Doesn't sound like something an innocent man would do. And then the last and final piece of evidence we have would be his
Yeah, because I'm like, my thing is this, her saying that a lot of men get accused. So let's just say if I'm put in that position where I get accused for sexual assault, whatever and stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever we need to do to go about proving my innocence, submitting DNA. I'm like, if you guys need like security camera, I'm like, my thing is this. I approve of it all because I'm like, I don't have nothing to hide. I don't have a reason to lie. My thing is this. I feel like it would definitely cause a lot of more satisfaction to prove that the person that's lying against my name is lying than, I guess like trying to hide some stuff and things and getting away with it. So yeah, but I'm like, if a person ain't got nothing to hide, then they don't have no problem submitting the DNA. But that's one thing that I have seen, like when watching a lot of different body cam reaction videos where a person is drunk and then the cop asks them, oh, would you be willing to do like a field sobriety test and then breathe into one of those like breath analyzing things things, tubes or whatever, and submitting a blood sample, they always say no. But did they be like stumbling back and forth? They're like, no, I'm not gonna accept the DNA or the breath analyzer and the field test sobriety thing. I'm like, yeah, you're a drunk, and it's like, and then on top of that, you have open containers in your car, so that even show, and yeah, it's like empty containers, empty open containers. So it's like when the evidence is there, you can't deny evidence and things. But and I feel like that because it's Trump, then the evidence can be denied. But it's like you go through the same thing that the woman that he mentioned go through the same thing that she was going through, and it's like, oh, okay, the evidence is being denied because this person is, they're in our eyes, they're a good person and things. Yeah, it's like that. No, I'm like, evidence when it's brought to the table, it has to be talked about. You can't just be like, oh, it can't be talked about because I have love for Trump. Who cares if you have love for Trump?
Listen, we all know that a one-time felon is around 73% more likely to engage in another felony compared to somebody that's never committed a crime in their life. The same thing rings true about being a sexual predator. So because Donald Trump has character priors with engaging in sexual predation, like the dressing room clip, proudly boasting about sexually exploiting naked women and girls, or like the Access Hollywood tape where he literally said that he would just grab women by their vaginas without asking first, and that's precisely what the jury found him guilty of doing, or everything to do with the Epstein files, that in consideration with the direct evidence submitted by Eugene Carroll and his lies is absolutely what demonstrates Donald Trump raped Eugene Carroll.
Okay, we gotta stop there.
It's like, okay, if Bill Clinton is there spying on women as they're undressing, then he gets put into that again. My thing is this: if you're trying to say like, oh, Bill Clinton did it, and so that makes him worse than Trump. No, if he's doing the same thing as Trump is doing, he's a bad person too. Equally, they're both bad. But if he ain't never did no stuff, and I'm not saying that he hasn't, I don't know about Bill Clinton. And yeah, it'd definitely be one of those things where I'm like, if there's some sort of audio proof of him admitting to it, like how Trump just admitted to it, then okay, then it's like that's when we can, put him in that conversation. But if not, then it's like you're bringing him up to support what argument? It's like, what are you trying to gain out of this? So
stop there. The flags are up. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Yeah.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair.
It's like looking like Larry from SpongeBob.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gina.
Nice to meet you too, Gina.
Did she have a stunt man? I thought it was like a 20-something-year-old woman walking up, and then it just switched to like I don't know. I just don't. I was like, I thought it was. I was assuming. I'm like, okay, yeah, she just had like that 20-year-old run up and things, but yeah, it's like did she just hit you with like the real actor? And I'm like,
First
huh,
of
okay.
all, if Trump was truly a predator, he would have never reported Epstein to the feds.
Yeah, he didn't.
In the 90s. He did.
Do you mean 2006?
Yeah, sorry, 2006. Also, was he ever on the island?
Well, I don't think that there's any evidence to demonstrate he was on the
never
island.
on the
Because I don't think he needed to go to the island to get it off.
No.
Listen,
Yeah,
about the 2000s.
it's like so it's like if it's on the island, then okay, and it's funny because if like, oh yeah, he was on the island and he did commit crimes on that island, it's like, oh, not true, and it's like, what is not true about it? My thing is this, and that's, I feel like a lot of times when you got to ask them, it's like, were you there? Because if not, then it's like, I could be wrong, you could be wrong, but if there's evidence showcasing that it's right, it's like what you're saying, it cancels out. Like there's nothing more to talk about with that. So, but
quote-unquote report to the feds about Epstein. He didn't report him to the feds. Epstein got arrested, and then Donald Trump turned around, called the local sheriff, and said, oh, thank God you got him. We've known about what Epstein's been doing all along, which A, indicates that Donald Trump knew what Epstein was doing with Maxwell and didn't report him to the cops prior to Epstein's original arrest, and B, indicates that Donald Trump has been lying to us about the nature of his relationship with Epstein for the last 10 years.
No.
We've all heard Donald Trump say that he never knew what Epstein was doing, was never involved, and was completely oblivious, but according to that report to the sheriff, of course he knew.
Okay, so first of all, if he did do something, believe me, they would have found it. They had to make the Russian dossier up. They had to make things up to get Trump. Trump doesn't have to be a sexual predator. Any woman would love to be.
He doesn't have to be a sexual predator, yet he is. Or he was. I guess if you're like, oh, he ain't doing it now. Okay, it's safe to say that he was at one point in time in his life, so yeah, it's like, ma'am, I'm like, if you're thinking you're gonna be, I think that's what she was aiming for, is like she wanted to look like Melania Trump, Trump's wife and stuff. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Like Like, you know how like in sometimes like there's like the, like with video games where they show like the difference in the graphics and stuff. So they'll show like Call of Duty on the Xbox, Call of Duty on the PlayStation, Call of Duty on PC. She's the Nintendo Switch Melania Trump.
With Trump. Okay, any woman.
Do you have a husband?
No.
Okay. Wait, well, let's actually test that. Could I have all the women with husbands or boyfriends in the room raise their hands? So her claim is that any woman would love to be with Trump. Would you guys cheat on your husbands and boyfriends with Trump?
Well, we didn't say if they were married. Not if we were married.
I mean,
Instead of
So if you're not married, then it's wow. I'm like no respect for their relationship.
anybody who's in a relationship, is there anybody who would want to be with
Yeah,
Donald Trump?
let's do it the other way
He
around.
doesn't have to be a
Okay.
sexual predator.
Okay. All right, listen. Put your hand up if you would have sex with Donald Trump.
What?
If
Wow.
he was married to
I'm like that. Wow. That is the standards is low. Like, fam, here's the thing. I'm single. I would love to be in a relationship. I would love to, yeah, like lead it to marriage, have kids, all that stuff. I would love all of that. But I'm not gonna say I'm on a high standard to where I'm like, oh, I'm above all and this and that, and I'm like I'm the best person that you'll ever be with and things. Like I know I have my flaws. I'm like nobody in this world is perfect, but Trump, that's one of those things. I'm like y'all are desperate. Like you guys are desperate. I'm like my thing is this. There's like that whole front region of Trump that it's like it's kind of like if you ever seen that like old 80s movie The Blob. I'm like just attach a human to one side of the blob and that's what you're gonna be having sex with.
Donald Trump, yes. And I'd love to
Man.
That's crazy.
Do you prefer Clinton? Why don't we talk about sexual?
I'm like, I prefer women. I'm like, what do you? I'm like, I don't know if she was being like, do you prefer that she did, or if I'm like, I prefer a woman. So yeah, that's
Predators as far as Bill Clinton.
Why? It's not
Okay,
about the
because
bomb.
he's a predator.
Okay, and if
Trump
he is,
doesn't
burn him,
have
throw him
to
under the
be a
jail. I
sexual
don't care.
predator. Trump did report him to the feds.
I thought I clarified
when-
that's not what
well,
happened.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. Show me that. Give me
Virginia,
evidence.
first of all, Virginia Guthrie worked at Mar-a-Lago in the early 2000s.
that's the thing where it's like people they never showcase proof, and then it's like you just got to go based off of their word. I mean, if it's a consistent story, then okay, but if not, then it's like this is my first time hearing it. Then it's like, did you get that from National Enquirer? I'm like, where did that? Oh, is it like the Trump version of a National Enquirer magazine? I'm like, ma'am, you're not telling me any things that it's like I guess I can take with me. But no, it's like the thing is this though. I would definitely do research on it. I'm like the information that you're giving to me right now.
And he prompted her to come and work for him as a massage therapist. Trump was pissed and he reported Epstein.
Okay, well, I would recommend looking at the fact check that will likely be on the video screen that says, actually, he placed this phone call after Epstein was arrested to thank the cop and to tip them off about Ghislaine Maxwell, because that's what the fact check is going to say.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is in one scenario, he's reporting the crime to the cop to then get Epstein arrested. In the secondary scenario, he's thanking the cop after Epstein's arrest and indicating that he knew about what he was doing.
Indictments.
I think that in many scenarios, what we'll see from quote-unquote co-conspirators of criminals is, well, once their friend gets arrested for the same crime that they committed, we'll turn around and be all lovey-dovey to the police to try to, indicate and promote the idea that they weren't involved. And the only reason why I bring this up isn't to say I know with certainty that this is exactly what Trump did, but is rather to give plausible doubt to your argument that because he did this, we know he's not a sexual predator, even though he admitted to it on Howard Stern's radio show, and even though a court found him guilty of rape.
A court never found him guilty of. First of all, if he was guilty of, he'd be in chains right now.
That's not how civil courts
They
work.
had to make, yeah, it is.
Civil courts don't send people to jail. They hold people financially liable. That's the nature of our criminal justice
But he
system.
would have been in jail.
You're not familiar with statute of limitations, then.
I'm familiar with
What's the
that.
statute of limitations?
You can only accuse somebody within a matter of time, but right now
so
it's
if
30 years.
So if E. Jean Carroll,
Right now
came
it's
out
30 years.
after the statute of
She's
limitations
out
had
of her
passed
mind,
for
she's
sexual abuse
insane.
in the state of New York
They
against
threw her
Donald
case
Trump,
out.
do you agree that even if she had a video of it happening to her, he wouldn't be in jail because the statute of limitations
That's
had
not
passed?
true. There is no statute of limitations when it comes to
So by the law, okay, the crime that Donald Trump committed, per the New York State legal definition of rape and of sexual abuse in 2019
He
through
never
2022,
committed that crime.
was specifically sexual abuse. Okay, because legally speaking, in New York, they only defined as penile penetration of the vagina, and she testified that he raped her with his fingers instead of his penis. So
No,
because of that,
that's a lie.
it would
There's
be
no
legally
proof of that.
categorized as sexual abuse, and that's
I'm like, and were you there? Like, man, people that are like that where somebody is clearly doing wrong, and that this ain't no different than you see those types of videos where it'd be like, I don't know, like a rapper or something, then done robbed this person, killed this person, kidnapped this other person, and then they got somebody on the outside talking about free my boy TMossBoss and things. If I did all of those crimes, I'm like, nah, keep TMossBoss locked up. But yeah, that's like, lady, what? That's one of those things again. If it happens to her, and that's the thing too, where it's like, you gotta ask them that, but they ain't gonna properly answer the question and stuff. But it's like, let's say all those things happen to you. It's like, how would that make you feel about that whole situation? So, and it's like, would you still be a Trump supporter? Let's say he, R word you back, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but yeah, let's just say he did that to you back before, or it's like, because I think the date said it was like 20 years, so it's like after the 20 years, then that's when you come forward and all this other. Or my thing is this: he does that, would you still vote for him because you agree with his political views and stuff? So yeah, that's why I'm like, that's that hard hitting question where it's on like, she'll like, no, he'll never do that because he respects people, and it's like, lady, okay, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and time her out, do whatever, get her up out of here.
Crime that had a
She's
statute
out of
of
her mind.
limitations on
She's insane, and they threw the case out just recently.
Okay,
Okay,
why do
we
you
got
think
to
she's out
pause
of her
there.
mind?
We got to pause there. You've been voted out.
Yeah, get her up out of there.
I just want to get a real quick raise of hands. This is not to shame anybody. I was just genuinely curious. Raise your flag really clearly so we could get a poll. If at Donald Trump's, like, when he was in his 40s, if you think he was an attractive man. I just want to get a raise of flags.
Wow.
This is so concerning.
And there's probably those like, especially the Julia and the Chipmunks, because she seemed like it was like, well, I mean, there might be some other young, I can't really make out and see, but I was like, at least the one that did. There's probably a guy that was like trying to talk with her and all that other stuff, and he's just trying to figure it out, like, dang, like, what's wrong with me? Like, I feel like I'm a good looking guy, and but she never wants to talk with me and all of that. That's where her standards is at. 40-year-old Trump. And I just, wow. Like, we live in a day and age where there are women that will want to be with Trump. Like, he has that much of a hold on just misguided women.
Flag up if you think he is currently still hot. Okay, I appreciate it. All right,
Wow.
If you would like to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
All right, Lori,
Is this the woman?
Mike, and the floor are yours.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about Trump barging into the dressing rooms of the beauty pageant contestants?
You may not imagine this, but when I was your age, I was a model. And I can tell you for a fact.
It's like he gave that look like too easy. He's like, I ain't even gonna respond to that, because if I had to respond to it, I'm like, well, what modeling agency? I'm like, and if you say something, you best believe we're pausing this, we're doing research, and we're seeing. If you say, oh, I was a model for Victoria's Secret, I'm like, no, you were Victoria's Secret. There's a difference between that. And I'm like, you were the secret they didn't want to get out. So
every fashion show, every modeling call, there are men in the dressing room. There are makeup artists, there are designers.
Oh, well,
it's not uncommon. And
I'm like, but Trump is not a makeup artist or a designer or a clothing designer. I'm like, he was just a man with money back in the day and stuff. So, I mean, whatever his business is. And because I don't care for, knowing of Trump's history and stuff. Like, they did a documentary, I'm flipping through the channels and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like, okay, there's a reason for a makeup artist and a clothing designer to be in there. But I would like to assume that they will have respect for you. Like, if you're changing, I guess, like, so let's say if I'm a makeup designer or a clothing designer, makeup artist, clothing designer, if I can see that she's getting ready to like start taking her, I'm like, oh, well, then I'm like, yeah, let me just go ahead and look this way. I'm like, just tap me on the shoulder when you're done and stuff. But yeah, it's just, being a man, I think that's something that's, programmed to you at a young age, depending on who you're raised by. And I was raised by good parents where they taught me how to have respect, not just for people, but for women. So you wouldn't catch me off up in though. I'm like, yeah, it'd be one of those things where I'll probably be walking up out of there, camera in my face. I'm like, yeah, they just start getting naked. I'm like, you guys could at least warrant me and stuff. I'm like, I'm seeing things. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm like, y'all are way too comfortable with me in here. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just, you just at some point in time, and I just feel like that with Trump, money had raised them. And I just think that with people like that, they develop I wouldn't really call it a strength, but it's a like a just a poor man's strength of power. And then yeah, that's why he just felt like he was entitled to do whatever it is that he wanted to do, and that's why he was being accused of stuff like that, where he's like creeping on women and stuff, and it's like that's not something to defend or be proud of and things. So, but anyways, or yeah, it's like defending it, making it like, oh, that happens all the time, and it's like it shouldn't happen all the time. I'm like, that means you were being taken advantage of. Do you not understand that? But anyways,
making it as if it's this big, huge deal. Donald Trump at the time was the head of the Miss Universe and Miss USA pageant. It wouldn't be surprising if I was in there changing for him to walk in. And you guys,
I'm like, if I seen you changing, I'm screaming, and I'm like, I've been blinded. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, if I walked in there and I seen you guys would hear a loud scream, me falling backwards, probably like squeezing my glasses to where they broke, and I'm like, I don't know what I just seen, but it almost got me. I'm like, I don't know what that was, but you take it up out of there and you give it the old Yeller treatment. I'm like, I think it was attached to her. I'm like, there's a woman in there being attacked right now. I'm like, it's just a woman with no clothes on. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, ma'am, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I know I caused the disturbance. And I just, yeah, I'm like, from this day forward, I'm like, you guys need to have that door locked. Cause I went in there thinking it was the bathroom and I seen her changing and I was frightened. I'm like, that's one of those, I'm like, but the thing is this, I would, if it came down, because I'm like, one game that I don't like playing because of how like freaky and creepy it is Fallout 3. If there's a choice between seeing what she looks like with no clothes on at her current age or playing Fallout 3, I'm doing a full 100% completion playthrough of Fallout 3. I guarantee and I promise you that.
Let's look at the camera. He's got a face for that one too. Let's go to E. Jean Carroll, since she already went over this for 20 minutes.
Can I respond to that?
Sure, but we're down to 1 minute. You've already talked about this.
Trump said that there were no men anywhere.
Well, I don't care what he said. I'm saying, as a woman that's been backstage at many fashion shows,
he was the owner.
There
he was
men
the one backstage.
everywhere.
He said that.
I'm like, you're here to defend him, yet you don't care what he said. What? Huh?
I'm sure that there were other men, forever, or just that instance. I'm not buying it. Okay, we got 50 seconds. I'm going E. Jean Carroll. E. Jean Carroll, number one, the statute of limitations had run out. Number two, for a very long,
and it's like that's the thing, like when they say things like that, and it's like you're trying to make it seem like, oh, like, the crime, there was still a crime committed. Like, yeah, you might not be able to prosecute a person, but still, it's like there was still a crime that was committed. And I just think that morally, like, it was wrong that the crime was even committed in the first place. It doesn't matter whether it happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years, 100 years ago. It's like, still, that crime was committed and nobody was protected behind it and stuff. So yeah, it's like the statute of limitations runs out, then there's nothing that you could do. That's like, then the system failed that woman. So
she never reported it to anyone until Reid Hoffman paid her to freaking go after this lawsuit. Why she is now being charged with perjury. Not only that, as a celebrity walking into Bergdorf Goldman's, you don't think that anybody would have a picture of him? And no offense, I don't trust a woman that named her cat Vagina and freaking was sexy and charged 21 other men with that crime.
Lori, you're going to get another fact check.
So it's, what does her cat's name have to do? Everybody, the thing is this, right? Everybody, I feel like, has some sort of wild side to them. Like I could think of back when I was younger, I was wild. I wouldn't say wild along the lines like where I was doing something that could put me in jail, but I was loud. I was, had like a lot of energy and things. As I gotten older, I changed. I changed as a person just because of, what was going on in life at the time. I feel like whatever, if so, like, let's say for an example, because yeah, let's just say like roasting, insulting people and things. If somebody, okay, or I don't know, I guess I just feel like, naming a cat a certain name, it's like, what does that have to do with anything? It's like, I guess like that's the point that I'm trying to make, but I feel like that doesn't have nothing to do with the conversation. It's like I'm telling you that Trump is a sexual predator. You're saying that you can't trust what this woman is saying because she named her cat Vagina T Fireball. Who cares what her cat's name is? I'm like, so therefore, I'm like, oh, the cat got to be, brought in as evidence. I'm like, this is why you can't trust what the woman is saying. You're holding the cat. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, it's the name of the cat. And it's all like, yeah, it's like, you can't trust the woman that names her cat that. And it's like, okay, we're gonna go back. I would love to see these people in like in a court situation as a lawyer or something. I'm like, yeah, let's just like, you know what they should do? They should have a TV show, have all of these people come back. This channel, I'm like the Jubilees, you guys should have it where everybody comes back. And then it's just like some fictional lawyer stuff. They come up with a case. You have all this time to like figure out what the defense is gonna be and stuff. And then yeah, just have it where it's like Dean Withers going up against any of the people that's here. And I'm like, yeah, have it where, but it's like it's a realistic court settings and stuff. Obviously, they're gonna probably be off up in there arguing thing like, well, this is a fake court show. So therefore I'm like, no, but it's treated like a real court case and things. I'm like, no, we have to see if what you can say can be used in a court of law. So, but anyways.
No, well, you go ahead and fact check. Larry King,
yeah,
she
I will.
said rape was sexy.
Oh, you're wrong about Larry King too.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Your mind's a mess. Okay.
Your mind's a mess.
Lori, there's something quite barbaric about MAGA, about this alt-right movement that's hinged on this paraxis of propaganda and useless and futile lies. And then when anybody tries to
you could tell she, but yeah, I think this was the woman with the whole like respect your elders. That's the thing that I just don't like about some older people is that they refuse to hear out what a younger person has to say. Now, let's say if a kid came up to me and he wanted to give me some advice about content creating, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a kid, you don't know what you're talking about. I think if anything, I would see what he knows about content creating. And if there are some things that he's telling me about that I've never even heard of, I'm like, wow, you might actually know a thing or two about. Because no, it was a friend of mine's where it was about like the camera, because yeah, there was a camera that I got for doing vlogs and stuff. So there was a camera that I was originally going to get, and then off topic on what this is, but I'm just saying, like, I guess like still kind of just staying on topic. But no, he told me what camera I should get. Yes, that camera was more expensive than the one that I was looking at, but it's a decent camera. The camera still works till this day. And no, I was like, and that's the thing where I'm all like, oh, I could have hit him with the, oh, you a youngin, you don't know nothing about content creating, because no, he was at the well, I'm like not at the time still, and I'm like making it seem like it's like, oh, time froze and he's now older than me, but no, but he is younger than me, and I was all like, you know what, no, I'm like, I'm going to take your advice, and it was funny because I did get the wrong camera and stuff, but then once the actual camera, I was like, this camera is actually good. I'm like, I like this camera. It has like a screen thing where you could kind of like flip it and stuff. So yeah, I'm like that. The whole like not listening to somebody because they're younger than me. That type of stuff to me is like, that's thrown out the window. I'm like, I don't care how old you are. If you know what you're talking about, I will listen to you.
These lies. Well, then all of a sudden, the provocators of this movement get mad, start screaming, start yelling, start saying that they kicked our asses, and then they don't let us speak. Listen, you made a couple false claims. You claimed that E. Jean Carroll had said that rape is sexy on an Anderson Cooper interview. That's not what she said. If you watch the interview with Anderson Cooper, you will hear her say verbatim that what happened to her was not sexual, was not sexy, quote unquote, it just hurt. And then Anderson Cooper responded to E. Jean Carroll by saying, well, I think that most people think of rape as like this hurtful, violent thing. And then she responded by saying, well, actually, I think most people think of rape as sexy. And the reason why she said that is because we form our own versions of reality predicated on our own experiences. So when you have the experience of sexual violence, when you have the experience of sexual violence, when you go through the experience of sexual violence,
I've been through sexual violence. Have you?
Yes. When
I'm
you go
sorry
through
to
the
hear that,
experience
Dean.
of sexual violence, you're more likely.
It is like that's all that she can say about that. She was expecting no, but then yeah, once when he did come out and I'm like, I mean, he didn't tell his story, but I feel like and that was enough right there to be like, oh, okay, so yeah, it's like that's the thing. It's like people think, oh, it's like he don't know what I'm talking about. He ain't been through what I've been through, and it's like you don't know about that person. You try to have the image of what a person is, but it's like until you get to know a person, that's when you actually know them. When you actually sit down and take the chance to know them. So that's why I'm like, I think if it came down to it, where it was like if me and Dean Withers, if we were debating, I'm like, hey, look, bro, I know you're gonna win this debate, so I'm like, good debate. I'm gonna give you your credit and things, but yeah, I'm like, it's not. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm like, I looked at them Jubilee people. I'm like, this ain't fair. I'm like, this ain't fair at all. So I said I wanted to debate. I didn't say I wanted to debate the final boss of debates. So I'm like, yeah, that's not fair, bro.
Likely to be more hypercritical and aware of crazy people in the world around us that downplay it, legitimize it, or fantasize about it. So maybe it was descriptively incorrect. It wasn't true when she said most people think of as sexy, but regardless of that, that's not her saying that she thinks of as sexy. So stop misinterpreting the genuine claims made by a victim of predicated off of the trauma that they went through. Quite frankly, Lori, I think that is disgusting.
Well, I think it's disgusting because I was a victim of actual and abuse. And if you want to compare what happened in the Epstein files, let me just tell you, I was one of those little girls.
I'm
Okay?
sorry to hear that, Lori.
I was one of those little girls, but the guy was Hugh Hefner. So for you to sit here and sit there and say it's disgusting, I'm sorry, I don't agree with the woman as a woman who was abused. I don't agree with the attacks falsely on Donald Trump because of the crap that your side always has to push because you got such.
So it's like what somebody been through, yet you're still defending the suspect. Like I guess like my thing is this, right? If there's something that I think it would just I wouldn't have that conversation. If it's like a thing where I'm like, okay, let's say there was somebody I've been through some stuff when I was let's say it's like racism, right? Because I feel like that's one thing that I can understand a lot better than stuff like this. But anyways, racism, if let's just say I did deal with racism when I was younger and stuff from school and then like neighbors and stuff. So but anyways, there's somebody that I support. I'm trying to and I'm not saying that he is, but let's just say I show a lot of support and love to Dean Withers. But he does come out and say like, oh, back when I was younger, I was racist a lot in Call of Duty and things. And I feel like some people would try to defend it and be like, hey, like there's a lot of people racist in Call of Duty and all of that stuff. I guess I'll be looking at it as like, if he ain't doing it now, then okay. But there is going to still be a part of me that's like, man, I can't look at him the same no more. So it really depends on, I guess, like if you want to support him, all right. But if not, it's like, I don't know. Me personally, I'm like, when I hear that people, they have like some racist, traits and stuff. Like, I mean, there is the one dude, the actor from Seinfeld. I had to say that Kramer. I think that was his name. And yeah, I always found that guy funny. I was like, I watch his movies, and then I would watch like anytime when he appeared on there because he was funny. Once when that racist stuff came out about him, I'm like, no, I'm like, I just can't look at him the same no more. So yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, me personally, I'm like, I just couldn't support somebody that's like, I've been through this, and then it's like knowing what they've done to somebody. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, I can't support that individual no more. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I find that crazy where it's like, you've been through it, but you still support somebody that was actually a suspect in a R word situation. But
TDS, it's insane. That woman is a nut job. I knew somebody that worked with her at Simon Schuster said that she was so inappropriate. She also accused 21 other men of the same freaking crime.
Name 5 of them.
I don't know their names.
Because they don't exist.
We're out of time. We have to pause there. Great job, everybody.
She mad now.
We are currently casting 3
That's
new
funny.
episodes of Surrounded. If you're a passionate debater who fits into any of the categories currently on your screen, we'd love to hear from you. You can apply through our website, jubileemedia.com/casting, or click on the link in the description. Feel free to spread the word to friends, family, or relatives who would be eager to join the circle. If you don't see anything that you're right for, fill out our open casting application, and our casting team will reach out if you're a fit for future videos.
My next surrounded claim is abortion should be legal.
If you wanted.
So I'm gonna pause here because yeah, this video I know it's gonna be have to get done in parts and stuff, but I will react to the whole thing and stuff. It's just gonna have to be done in parts. But anyways, make sure if you guys haven't, definitely go subscribe to the Jubilee channel. Yeah, this Dean Withers once again, he's somebody where it's like if you don't know about this guy, definitely watch some videos on him. But yeah, subscribe to the Jubilee channel. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.